Welcome, guys, to the last passage of this exam. Court reporting, humans versus machines. Number 34. Court reporters for years have been the record keepers of the court, taking scrupulous notes during hearings, depositions, and other legal proceedings. Which choice best fits with the tone of the rest of this passage? For this diction question, we need to ask ourselves, do record keepers of the court need to take scrupulous, super rigorous, spot on, or intense notes? Since court is a serious matter, it is probably important to carefully take thorough notes, so scrupulous, which means careful, seems like a great fit. But let's go through the other choices to make sure there's no better fit. Choice B, super rigorous, means very strict and demanding, and very strict notes doesn't make much sense. Spot on is an informal expression that means completely accurate, but machines are probably more accurate than humans because digital systems record everything. Also, choices with informal expressions are generally incorrect unless the passage is an informal piece of writing. And finally, a record keeper wouldn't take high energy or intense notes, so choice D is incorrect, leaving us with choice A as the correct answer. Number 35. This is a question on punctuation, namely semicolon usage. Now you can only use a semicolon to replace commas in a list when list components have commas already. For instance, I visited Miami, Florida, Flushing, New York, and Dallas, Texas this year. Since the list components here don't contain any commas, we must use commas to separate them, and choice C is our correct answer. Number 36. At this point, the writer is considering adding the following graph. Should the writer make this addition here? This paragraph claims that court reporters' vital roles are still irreplaceable by machines. This graph about median salary is unrelated to court reporters' vital roles, and therefore choice C, no, because it presents information that is not directly related to the paragraph's discussion of the roles of court reporters, is the correct answer. Number 37. Proponents of going digital say that technology is the easiest way to get the most accurate record of the proceedings, as the machine records everything faithfully as it occurs and is not subject to human errors such as mishearing or mistyping. This is a usage question, and subject is used in one of two forms, namely the adjective form, subject to, and the phrasal verb form, subjected to. But in either case, you say something is subject to or subjected to something, not subject for or subjected from something. Therefore, we can eliminate choices C and D. To choose between A and B, we just have to decide if this sentence puts emphasis on describing a state or condition or a received action. The verb form would put emphasis on the machine being the direct object of the phrasal verb subjected to. But since the tone leans more towards describing a state or condition of the machine, we would use the adjective form, subject to, in choice A. Number 38. However, with the rise of high-quality recording technology, reliance on court reporters as a record keeper is decreasing. This is an illogical comparison question which focuses on number disagreement. The plural noun court reporters are being compared to a single record keeper. Court reporters need to be compared to the plural noun record keepers, so we can eliminate choices A and D. Choice B is also an illogical comparison, as now you are comparing each or a single record keeper to many record keepers. So choice C is the only comparison that agrees with one another in number. Plural court reporters to the plural record keepers. So C is the correct answer. Number 39. To make this paragraph most logical, sentence 6 should be placed. Now, sentence 6, which we just read, is a statement that casts doubt on the future of court reporters, saying reliance on court reporters is decreasing. Hence, definitely a negative statement with regards to court reporters. And because of the transition, however, we know we need to place this sentence after a positive statement about the future of court reporters. Well, sentence 5 is something positive about audio recordings, which would actually be bad for court reporters. So we cannot keep the sentence where it is, because however does not contrast with the already negative statement in the preceding sentence 5. Sentence 4, which says digital audio recording is becoming increasingly popular, is also very positive for digital recording and hence negative for court reporters, which again does not contrast with the next sentence that starts with however. Now let's go look at sentence 1. Court reporters record the spoken word in real time using stenography is sort of a neutral informational sentence on court reporters, and although it's better than sentences 4 and 5, there's likely to be a better choice. And that's exactly what we get in sentence 3. It's clearly positive because of words like instantaneously translated that emphasize how quickly court reporters can type. If they are this good at their work, you would think the future is promising for them. Therefore, it is most appropriate to follow a positive statement like this with a negative statement about court reporters by using the transition, however, to account for the shift in tone. So choice C is our correct answer. Number 40. Which choice most effectively combines the sentences at the underlined portion? Champions of court reporting, though, argue the opposite. They argue that, with the increased reliance on technology, errors actually increase. This question requires you to recognize that this is an ideal scenario to use the dash punctuation. The dash is used to explain or clarify a statement on its left, while emphasizing what comes after the dash. They argue that with the increased reliance on technology, errors actually increase. This is an explanation of the champion's opposite argument mentioned before the dash, so choice B is the correct answer. Number 41. Because digital systems record indiscriminately, they cannot discern important parts of the proceedings from other noises in the courtroom. Choice A is incorrect because colons must have an independent clause on its left. But besides the structural issue, the right of the colon is not an explanation or clarification of the left side. It's actually a consequence or result of the left marked by the use of a because clause that precedes it. Therefore, the colon is structurally and contextually misused here. And because the left side is a dependent clause, you cannot end a dependent clause with a period. So choice C is also incorrect. For choice D, therefore is redundant with because. So the correct answer must be choice B, which correctly combines a dependent introductory clause to an independent clause by inserting a comma between them. Number 42. Despite this, a digital device does indeed record everything, but that includes loud noises, such as a book dropping, that can make the actual words spoken impossible to hear. For this transition question, the second sentence is an extension of what was stated in the preceding sentence. Digital systems that record indiscriminately and the digital device that does record everything are two different ways of saying the same thing, and therefore choice A is incorrect because despite this should be used to imply contrast, and clearly there's no contrast here. Because they are two ways of saying the same thing, in other words, in choice B is the appropriate transition and our correct answer. But let's talk about why choices C and D are incorrect. Both therefore and consequently are transitions used to present the preceding sentence as a reason for the result in the next sentence. And a digital device does not record everything because it cannot discern important parts of the proceedings from other noises. It just does it because it is turned on. There's no reason behind why it records everything. It's a machine. Therefore, choice B is our correct answer. Number 43. A court reporter, however, can distinguish between the words and distinguish between the extrinsic noises that need not be recorded. This question tests your logic. The original statement says that a court reporter can distinguish between words and other words and between noises and other noises, when in fact, to be consistent with the argument of the passage, a court reporter should be able to distinguish between the words and the noises, which is what choice D, our correct answer, states. And the final question for this passage and exam, number 44. Which choice provides the best supporting example for the main idea of the paragraph? The paragraph begins by referring to a human court reporter's ability to ask for repeats if a witness mumbles, and ends the paragraph by referring to his or her clarification skills and adaptability. These are all ways they avoid real issues of indistinct testimony present with digital systems. Therefore, if digital recordings lead to the need for retrial because of indistinct testimony, it would best support the paragraph's main idea that humans can prevent indistinct testimony with their clarification and adaptability skills. All the other choices involve changes that are not as major as having to conduct an entire retrial. Also, the need for a courtroom monitor in choice B and changes in the roles and duties of courtroom members in choice C are not changes caused by indistinct testimony, which is the primary digital system limitation emphasized throughout the passage and paragraph. For instance, the equipment doesn't malfunction because it can't record distinctively. Courtroom members don't change roles because machines can't record distinctively. And yes, the judge may make additional announcements telling the witness not to mumble because machines can't record distinctively, but additional announcements are not nearly as bad as having to conduct an entire retrial, so choice D is still our best answer. If there's a need for retrial because machines recorded indistinct testimony, it would strongly support the need for human court reporters since they can prevent costly retrial, a serious limitation of indistinctly recording digital systems. So choice D, which also specifies the key discussion, namely indistinct testimony, as the reason for retrial, is our correct answer.